What's up, guys? My name's Heidi, and I figured I'd give myself a shot at trying one of these. Is Guild Wars 2 worth playing? Now, just to make the long story short, so like if you don't feel like watching the full video, that's fine. Long story short is yes, it is worth playing. I know I talk shit about Guild Wars all the time because I'm in a love-hate relationship with this game. Let's be honest. I've been playing this game for 7 years. I got this shit right here, the 7-year player thing. I'm a PvPer, so you're getting a PvP perspective. I also do play the main game, like you see my mastery. I'm not maxed out yet. I got one more thing to max out. It's locked behind achievements. I think I'm gonna wait for the next living story to get the more mastery points. It's gonna take too long if I try to do it. Try to do it regularly. But anyway, is it worth playing? Long story is coming up. Short story is yes, it's worth playing. Why is it yes? Because this game has so much to offer that other games do not have to offer. The person that got me into this game, his name is Angry Joe. A lot of people might know who he is, Angry Joe Show and all that. Once I seen his video, I was sold on it. The reason I was sold on it was because I was like, the combat is so different. It's so fluid. It's so active if you have a good connection. PvE is perfect. Everything works on cooperative gameplay. When you go to PvE, you got raids, you got strike missions. Strike missions is a new thing they added with the new living story. They added it with the new living story. What is it called? I can't remember the damn name, man. Iceborne Saga, whatever, right? Basically, they're like mini raids. So if you're not really into the elite, gotta have the best build, whatever. It's just something for to get some good loot, but still have some fun with your friends or just pick up group. They got open world events. I would say my favorite is probably the Heart of Thorn events. They're my favorite. The Heart of Thorns, they don't have like the hearts, right? They got the thing called outposts, and outposts are basically like you do missions around the outposts, and the more missions you do, it unlocks meta events, and meta events are basically like the end game of that area, right? It's like the thing that you want to get to, so you can get the best rewards. So, for example, I'm in Heart of Thorns right now. This is the first map called Verdant Brink, right? So when you come here, there's two events. There's one when you do the daytime and one when you do nighttime. So daytime is when you build up all the meta events, right? You try to prepare the pack to get ready for the Mordrum. And then once you get the Mordrum prepared, get your pack prepared, fight the Mordrum, then you gotta do the nighttime events. So basically there's like champions on each of the outpost areas, and you gotta kill all the champions. It's really fun. So it's different meta events for each one. So for another example, Arc Basin over here, you gotta protect the Forgotten City from the Mordrum. Tango Depths, I really love Tango Depths because it's basically like a 4-man squad. Each one got a lane, and you gotta kill the Chalk Gurn. And then my last favorite one is fighting the mouth of Mordrum off. Sorry for the spoilers if I spoiled you for that. Yeah, but I didn't spoil the actual gameplay. So when you get there, you'll figure it out. But yeah, what I would suggest though, and I think they're still doing it right now, is if you buy Path of Fire, you get Heart of Thorns for free. So you should check that out. We all staying inside because of the the pandemic and everything. So if you want to find something to play, something to enjoy, something to kill time, I would say pick up Guild Wars, pick up Path of Fire. No, I'm not being paid by Guild Wars. It's just my favorite game. I love to fucking play this shit. I've been playing for 7 years, of course. So yeah, I just wanted to get my perspective on it. If you came for like PvP, I would say try to learn your class first. Learn what you like to play first. My favorite class is Warrior, of course. I have about 10,000 hours, 12,000 hours on Warrior. 10,000, 12,000, one of them. So I really know how to play Warrior. But other than that, I would say figure out your favorite class. Each class plays differently. They all have their own mechanics and everything. So if you came for PvP, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's a high learning curve right now. So I mean, they tried to like balance it out, balance all the damage out, so people don't die as quickly. But once you get there, you know, you play your favorite class, learn how they work. Then I say venture out and play other classes, so you know how they work. Each class has their own weakness. Each class has their own balance and their own, you know, uh, weaknesses and strength. So don't just come in and think you're gonna, you know, run through everybody like in most games. It's not gonna happen. Especially a lot of the PvP players now, they're really experienced, so they know what they're doing. They know how to play their class. The reason why I said pick up Path of Fire first and don't pick up Heart of Thorns if it's not free, because you can get a mount straight off the bat when you first get Path of Fire. You do the first mission, you go to the Crystal Desert. What is it? A Moon Oasis? No, Crystal Oasis. And the first mission will give you a Raptor Mount. So the Raptor Mount is this right here. It got like, it has a little leap. So basically, I mean, you could go through the whole game with mounts too, right? So once you get the mount, you could just, you know, speed through, do world completion if you want to do that. It's really easy, really simple. You don't have to get all the masteries like I have. I know I got Bond of Life, Bond of Vigor, Faith, Bond of Faith. So you don't have to get all the masteries, but I would say, you know, get Path of Fire, get your first mount, and then enjoy the game. Another reason why I really love this game is a lot of lore, it's a lot of conversations, a lot of things that a lot of new players miss when they first play this game, because they give you the level 80 boost. They want you to, you know, jump straight into it. But I'm telling you, take your time. The environments are beautiful. Everything is beautiful. Everything is like great about this game. Like, I can't really say anything about it other than like the PvP is a little unbalanced right now. It's like they still working on it. They still trying to get it after all these years. I know it's a lot of skills and a lot of cooldowns, a lot of things to think about when it comes to builds and everything. But I know it takes a while to, you know, fully get it. But I think they working on it. I'm not really happy about it right now. I'm still like, they could do better. They could do a lot more. But they do have a lot going on at the same time. You got the pandemic, and then they laid off 140 people and all that. So I can understand, you know, their thing. The only thing that I wish that Guild Wars did more, that they don't really do, they don't communicate with their players like they should. As a consumer, I'm, you know, I bought your product. I want to hear back from you. I need some feedback from the guy who's actually, you know, fucking selling me something. So I need feedback from the actual developer. I don't like how they do things and don't communicate with the players. It's really frustrating. It's like you can't run a business and think you're gonna be successful doing that. That's one of my downfalls about Guild Wars. But other than that, see how the animation is for this dragon mount? It's about, let me show you. I'm gonna show you real quick how many mounts there are. So this is the sky scale. A lot of the mounts and things are time gated. So don't think you're gonna come in and think you're gonna get every mount like the sky scale, like dragon mount and all that, like on the instant. It's gonna take a while, a lot of farming, a lot of things you gotta do before you get there. So just take the time though. The game is really fun, it's really active. You know, a lot of people still play this. They still play Guild Wars 1 too, which I was surprised about. You got, and then another thing about this game too, it's not really based on equipment a lot. So the highest stats would be Ascended, right? Ascended are, you know, you see on my armor is this Runic Slayer breastplate. That's another thing about Guild Wars. A lot of the stats and stuff aren't really that, you know, heavy base. So you can still win fights in PvP game modes and still do some damage, even in PvE with just exotic. Exotic would be like these weapons right here. Let me see if I got any. You can tell the rarity of the weapon by looking down. It says transmuted impaler, and then under that it says exotic. That means that's the rarity. That means that's how good effective that weapon is. So the highest would be Ascended, and you can also tell by the color of the name. So this is pink, right? And exotic would be like goldish yellow, and then rares would be straight yellow. So that's how you can tell like you can still do some damage. You don't need Ascended armor. Ascended is better because you can put infusions on it, but you really don't need it. You can still, you know, beat other players with Ascended armor with exotics. So I'm fully Ascended, of course. It takes a little while to get. Don't worry about it though. Like I said, you can still manage with just exotics. Another thing that you could try doing is just like doing the reward tracks. They really help you get armor and, you know, stats and stuff. And just playing the game modes will help you get there too. They got capes. They finally released capes after all these years. So they got capes. If you're a cape fan, You could go to the gem store, buy capes. This one is the runic cape. I just got this, so that's my little favorite cape. Got plenty of builds. You got 3 specs. So I'm playing warrior. You got 2 elite specs. You got berserker. Got a couple berserker skills. Berserker is like your high damage dealing. You got what else? You got spellbreaker. Spellbreaker is more like boon strip, strip boons, whatever. Um, so I like to play. I like to play core. Core warrior still does some damage. Core warrior is probably a high damage, high mobility, high sustain. Not high sustain, medium sustain, high damage. Spec. Berserker is like really high damage spec, and then spellbreaker is like sustain, medium damage spec. So you get like the best of both worlds, whatever, right? I wouldn't really consider warrior to be a really good support, but there are support warrior builds. Um, what else to talk about? The game is very huge, dude. Like, it's not open world; it's instance based. So every area has like a loading screen that you have to go to, but each area is extremely huge. Like, you see this? Okay, so this area right here, I'm gonna circle it for you. This is like the main game right here, right? This is the main game. This is an expansion area. This is one whole expansion area. And this is another expansion area down here. So it's a lot. And then they got living stories that they release like every couple of months. So you got Bloodstone Fen. You got another area down here, Draconis Mons. So they release stories. So like every couple of months. So I'm telling you, dude. It's a lot of content. A lot of NPC conversations, a lot of lore hidden behind dialogue and hidden behind, story map missions and stuff. So yeah, I play about every class. But like I said, my favorite class is warrior. So I do have every class. I've experienced every build and everything I try to test out. So thieves have high stealth. They're like a stealth based class. They have Deadeye. Deadeye is a new elite with Heart of Path of Fire. Heart of Thorns came with Daredevil. Daredevil's like your monk, I guess you could say. Your monk, dodging, blocking, real high evade class. You got Necros. What you got Necros on? You got Necro. You got Scourges and Reapers. So Reapers are your high damage dealing. They can use their life force to turn into like a dark knight kind of thing. That has like a scythe and they're like a reaper of death or whatever, and they do a lot of damage. You got Scourges. Scourges are like your barrier. Barrier is like a defense that you put over top of your armor. Hence the word barrier. They got a lot of support builds with barrier and Scourge. You got engineer. Engineer, they can put down turrets. Turrets are like NPCs that attack for you. You can heal. Heart of Thorns came with Scrapper, which is like a support sort of damage dealing spec. And Hollowsmith is like damage dealing support kind of, but I would say more damage than support. You got the hollow field and everything. I'm gonna go over every class, every build, whatever, and show you. You got Guardian. Heart of Thorns came with Dragon Hunter. Path of Fire came with Firebrand. Dragon Hunter is more like your damage dealing. Path of Fire, what's that thing called? Firebrand is more like it can be a damage dealer. You can, the thing I like about Guild Wars is you can mold your own builds. Like, not everything is just support and just power. I mean, it might be hard to make a power build out of it, but it's not impossible. You can still make power builds out of any spec. So you can make a power Firebrand build, or you can make a conditioned Firebrand build, or you can make a support Firebrand. Firebrand is mainly used for support, but you can make any build out of it. You got Revenants. What you got with Revenant? You got power with your Herald, and then you got, I would say, like a condition, but you can still go power with Renegade. Renegade is the new one that came out with Path of Fire. You got Rangers. What can Rangers do? Rangers got Druid. Druid is mainly like a support, but you can make it a power build, so power support. And then Soul Beast will be like your support power build. More power than support. Support, when I say support for Soul Beast, is because they have stances, and stances can be shared between your allies. So like Doyak stance, for example, it can share stability. It's just another warrior of mine. I really love warrior. Ellie's, you have Tempest is more like a support. You could go power with Tempest, but Tempest with more support. Tempest is the Heart of Thorns. And then you have what do you have with Tempest? You got the Warhorn, whatever, and then you have Weavers with Elementals. Weavers are like evades, damage, Condi damage, power. It's more like a hybrid spec. This is probably like one of the only specs that have like a hybrid build that works more effectively than all of the other classes. I would say for Ellie. And then you have Mesmers, which are like your clone generating. Um, they can make clones. They got stealth as well. Um, the Chronomancer came with Heart of Thorns and Mirage. Mirage is like your power. You can play power with Mirage, or you can play Condi with Mirage. Chrono is mainly for power. You can use power, or you can use a support build, which is like Boom, a Boom Chronomancer. They dish out a lot of alacrity and quickness. So let's go jump into it real quick. I'll show you. Um, my favorite, I would say, would be like Soul Beast. Soul Beast is really fun because you can merge with your pet. They recently changed it though, because now you can't like merge with both pets. Soul Beast can only use one pet at a time when they're in combat. You can still swap both pets when you're out of combat, but you can only use one.
What's taking B so long? Even he should be able to out.
So like I said before, like the main game, they have like these little gold hearts right here. You see this? These are like your little outposts or your little mission areas. You don't have to do them. You can just like walk past them. But like killing monsters in that area generally generates like completion for that. So right now I'm playing as a Chronomancer, and like I said, they have like they can control time, hence the word chrono, right? So like this skill right here, it's probably my favorite skill. I love using this skill. It's called Gravity Well, and basically it says that you create a powerful well that warps space in the area, knocking down. First it knocks down, and then it does a floating, so it'll pull them up in the air, and then they'll pull the foes to the center of it. So it's really good for like if you're in a group fight, if you wanna like if somebody goes down, you wanna like finalize the stomp, you wanna use that skill right there. So I'll show you a little demonstration of it. Makes them push them in the air, and it pushes them to the center of it. It's really strong. I really love it. Chronomancer is probably my favorite. I don't really play Mesmer as much, but if I did, I would love to like master it because it's one of my favorite specs other than Warrior. I love to be able to manipulate time and everything. So like I have here, this is the shield. This is a legendary weapon actually. Legendaries are the same stats as Ascended, so you don't have to worry about like trying to get legendary armor because it doesn't really do anything. Legendaries are basically like skins. Basically, they make legendaries like really detailed and have all these things with it. So I'll show you for example, like when I throw out my shield, Shushudu would throw out too. So see how like Shushudu is flying and it comes back. He's on my back. So that's what this legendary is called. It's called Shushudu, and it's purple. All legendaries are purple. I have another legendary called Exordium. Exordium is the newest one that came out with Path of Fire, and basically it's like your magic blade. It changes depending on what skills you use. So if you see that right there, that's just the auto attack for Mesmer. It changes. When I throw out Mirror Blade, it's going to turn into like a little magic blade. See that? It has its own little sound effects as well. So yeah, so the blade changes depending on what skill you use, which I thought was really awesome. I think even on my heel, let me see my heel real quick. I'll show you. Like even the sword would change even when I'm using my heel. I think it's this one. See how it changes? It's really awesome. They put a lot of detail into that, and not many games have that kind of thing. A lot of the legendaries you can buy from the trading post. I think you can buy. See some role players over here. I think you could buy like the Generation 1 legendaries. Yeah, I think so, right? Yeah, you can. Eternity and all that. Eternity. Yeah, so you could buy them like 3,000 gold, whatever. I do have Eternity as well. I'll show you what that looks like real quick. I mean, basically, Eternity is a great sword that takes two great swords and put them into one. And basically, it changes depending on the time of day. Like, you see how my sword just changed? You probably missed it, but it just turned black. But if you see here, sunrise. It takes sunrise and twilight to make Eternity. And it changes depending on the time of day. This is how the effects look. They don't have any special like sound animations, but they have like wave effects when you swing your weapon, stuff like that. Even the blade trail looks different, and then you have footfalls. That's another thing that comes with legendaries. So let me show you Mirage real quick. Mirage is your Condi spec. Where is it at? Mirage. There we go. I don't really play Mirage as much. I probably played it probably like once just to get the feel of it. But basically they make clones, and they can their clones do a lot of like condition damage basically. They don't move as fast as Chronomancer clones. A lot of people when they run Chronomancer, they run that super speed trait where your clones run super fast. Mirage dodges as well do not move. When they dodge, they stand still. And another thing with Mirage is that they do a thing that's in this game called target break. Ah, damn, I don't have an X. But basically, target break, even on their your utilities for Mesmer, do a target break. And basically, target break is for like other players. Where is it at? I'm gonna try to show you real quick. Target break is on this one. Break enemy targeting. So basically, what that means is if a person is targeted onto you and you use the skill, they lose target, and then it'll refocus them on one of your clones, which is I like the idea of it, but when you get into a fight, it can be kind of annoying. Because the only reason why it can be kind of annoying because like one of your skills could go off and you hit one of the clones even when you didn't mean to. But the clones are like kind of weak, so they will die really fast. But if the Mesmer is like condition build or something like that, they can the clones won't die as easily. So usually power builds are usually the ones that the clones die real fast. But a good Mesmer will destroy the clone before you can get a chance to try to kill their clone. Because the clones aren't really used to soak up damage. They're just used to distract and well, other than when they explode the clone, like mind whack or whatever, but they're not mainly used to just sit there and not do anything. They're mainly just used to do damage, or just take their place real quick, so they can get some breathing room. Because Mesmers, they don't have a lot of stealth like Thief do. Thief has probably the most access to stealth, but Mesmers use break targeting and clone generation to rotate their damage. So the next class I'm going to show you is Ellie. I would say Mesmer is probably like one of the best classes as well. Going back to Mesmer, it's probably one of the best classes to play in a PvP setting. They have a lot of good builds. You can go to Meta Battle and look up their builds. Sorry, that's my alarm clock. So here's another class. I named him Dr. Different. He's supposed to be like that famous guy. Y'all know his name. Doctor Strange, right? So I'm playing as a Tempest right now. And Tempest, like I said, is a support spec. So they have shouts. That's what they have. And basically their shouts, they do different things. Like give you movement speed or magnetic aura. Stuff like that, right? And then they can overload their attunements. Overloading is when
Armored lightning bolt.
you can overload. It goes on cooldown and it gives you an aura. Let's see. Do I have a warhorn on me? I do not have a warhorn on me, unfortunately. But basically, they come with warhorns, right? Mirage came with axe. I didn't show you that because I didn't have an axe. I'm sorry, and I don't have a warhorn to show you this. But usually, when I play Elementalist, I play it for the support. Because I like to play support when I play Tempest. You can make a power build, like I said. Your damage mostly would be fire and earth. Fire and air attunements when you play a power build, and when you go for like a support spec, you want to play earth and water, because they got Condi clears and stability and things like that. So yeah, so that's what Elementalist comes with Tempest. And Weavers, like I said, they're mainly like your Condi power elite specs. You could try to run like a hybrid build. You can run like put burnings on people and try to apply a lot of like burns and bleeds. But I would say mainly just stick to just manipulating the dodges and making them. So let me see here. So right now, the thing about Weaver is you gotta You gotta know how to play a piano to play this fucking class, cause I still can't get used to it. Now you see how my skills are, right? This is all air. When I attune to another spec, it's air and earth now, right? So I got a new skill called grinding stones, and that's what the skill look like. It looks so cool though. Like they spent so much time on this class. I can tell because of the animations and everything. So if I tune to earth again, all my skills will now be earth, right? But the thing is, all of my, you see how all my skills at the top go on cooldown? That's another thing that you got to be cautious about with Weaver, because with regular elementalists and with Weaver, you don't. I mean with Tempest, you like all of your attunements don't go on cooldown. Let me show you real quick.
Ready to rock.
So when I swap to, see that, only like they only went on cooldown for like a half a second or something like that, right?
Charge.
And I swapped the water. It only going half a second. Of course, it's going to be on cooldown because I just left it, right?
I can move mountains.
But you see, but when you play Weaver, all of your attunements go on cooldown. That's their way of balancing it out, so people can't just swap the other things real quickly. Now you can do a thing called Unravel. I think that refreshes or allows you to, you know. I'll show you real quick. I'm gonna swap the fire. It's gonna be water and fire. See that? You got a new skill called Steam Surge. But if I use Unravel, I think.
I have mastered the elements.
See that? Now that's what they want you to play on. They want you to play on Unravel so you can, you know, refresh your attunements. It's a really good skill if you know how to manipulate it and do stuff like that. But I would say just stick to like Twist of Fate, stuff like that in a PvP setting. In PvE you could probably make it work, but in PvP you want to go for more damage and more sustain. So you want to use like Twist of Fate and stuff like that. I'm not really big on PvP builds and stuff like that for other classes. You might have to find another video on that, but I'm just demonstrating all of the elite specs. This is another legendary called Claw of Can-Er. Each legendary has their own draw effects too, and their own sounds and animations. So as you can see there, when I equip it, it makes that little noise, that swing noise. So yeah. Moving on next to the next elite spec. Let's see who we got here. I'm gonna skip Warrior. I'm gonna go back to Warrior. So we got Soul Beast, right? This is Ranger's elite spec. So like I said before, they're like power support kinda. Support would be if you change the traits around. You can go Condi with Soul Beast. They do have daggers. That's their new thing. But I wouldn't really recommend it. I would say Druid is probably the best for Condi build for Soul Beast. They didn't really make dagger work like how I thought they was gonna make it work. Like the skills, the auto attacks have bleeds and poisons on it, but it don't really work that effective. This legendary is called Forest. It's like a light bow. It, you know, it lights up, makes a little noise. It has a drawer animation too. It's probably still low now. Let me show you. There you go. That's the drawer animation. It has also, I believe all of the legendaries have projectiles. I believe so. So this is this projectile. I'm not demonstrating all of the legendaries too. So if you want to look up that, you can find it on my channel. I do have it on my channel, so you could go look it up on my channel. Or just find a video on YouTube if you want to see like all of the legendary demonstrations. I do want to show you Exordium though. Like when I said before that it changes depending on the attack you use, right? So Rangers, they have a thing called counterattack, and that's basically like when you block. Now you see how my sword is a sword, right? When I block, it turns into a shield. Now that was fucking cool. I was like, yo, I can't believe they really did that and turned my sword into a shield. Like that's really dope. And it turns into a spear and a serrated blade and a hammer. All kinds of different things. Yeah, so I think that was really cool. So I'm playing this Soul Beast, right? And like I said, when you're in combat, you can't change pets. You can only go into Soul Beast mode. This is Soul Beast mode. Basically, you get like half the stats. Each pet has a attribute. So this one says supportive. So this is a support pet. Even though the pet does do damage, here's all the pets right here that you can use. But each pet has like their own attributes. So like this one says ferocious. So if I go into Soul Beast mode, it's gonna say merge with a ferocious pet. has increased your power and ferocity, right? So that's how that works. And then, you know, Soul Beast merging goes on the cooldown. When I said support, it's called Leader of the Pack. This is number of allies target. 5. Stand skills gain increased durations, and you grant their effects to nearby allies for reduced duration. So, like I said, Doyak stance. This gives stability, right? 6 seconds of stability. If I use the skill near player or my pet, it's gonna give them stability as well. So that's why it's a really good skill, a really good spec for like support and power. I would say go into Soul Beast mode. Also, when you go into Soul Beast mode, you get the animals powers as well. I was like, yo, that's dope. So I get to use my powers that the pet can use, heal myself, and then use it to screech again, get myself fury, stuff like that. Rangers are really fun, yo. If you want to play a class that, you know, that's like versatile, I would say go Ranger, because they got a pet that can help you in combat. The pet has a really good res-ability if you go down. It's just all around fun. Druid, like I said, Druid is main your support, but you can make it a power build. You can make it a power hybrid build, like a power and support build. They got a lot of heals. They can go into Celestial Avatar. Let me show you that real quick. I can't go into Celestial Avatar unless I attack something. So you need to build up healing, right? That's the only way they work. So you use staffs with Druid, right? And their staff auto attacks give healing and stuff like that. Where's the thing at? So I can go there real quick and show you. I'm so glad you can ride the sky scale in this area. So here's one of the enemies. So basically, you gain healing with this. The more healing you see, that bar, that blue bar near my endurance, is going up. Let me turn it down a little bit. Myself. Oh dang, killed my pet already. So basically, you want to get as much healing as possible. I'm not really a heal build right now, so that's why it's taking me a little time to get this up. But if I was a heal build, it would go up way faster than what it's going up now. So when I go into Celestial Avatar, I get a lot of different skills. Like your whole skill bar would change. And when that happens, you get a lot of different heals. So depending on your build, this is what Celestial Avatar looks like. And all of your skills heal for the most part, except like skill 5. And you can only go in it as long as you have that blue bar at the bottom. Your auto attacks healed and everything. And then when you go out of it, your bar goes down to like half, or it's reduced by a percentage. And then depending on how much healing you can do right back, if you can do enough healing, you can get right back into Celestial Avatar. So that's Druid for you. Let's see, the next spec is Revenants. Now Revenants, I would say they're okay for PvP. They're like in between. They're like in a hard spot right now because they're really weak to condition builds. Condition builds would be like how can I put this? They're like damage over time, right? And then Revenants have a really hard time clearing conditions for the most part. If you're new to Revenant, you'll probably have a hard time. But a lot of the experienced players are really good at clearing conditions and everything like that. So they don't really have a hard time. And then they have sigils and things that you can use to clear conditions, help you clear conditions. But I would say only play Revenant if you already know how to play Thief, because Revenant takes a lot of skill and a lot of dodging and a lot of time management and movement and everything to really master. It's a really fun spec that you can master. It's a heavy spec. You can make a power or support build with Revenant, but I would say only master it if you've mastered Thief, because you will die really quickly if you do not know what you're doing or how to play. So right now I'm playing as a Herald, and that's the elite specialization for Heart of Thorns for Revenant. The base Revenant looks like this. You get your dodges and everything, and even your F1 skill changes. It's called Ancient Echo. So it changes to something else other than what you had before. So when I go back to Herald, my F1 would change, and it's called True Nature now. And basically True Nature, it has a different effect depending on your stance. So with this, You can do Legendary Dragon, which is basically like Glint. I think I have my talk off, but usually when you change your stances, they will talk to you and things like that. You can also use your elite and show Glint come out. Yeah, she makes like a little wave noise. Wow. Revenant is probably your highest damage dealing power build out of all of the heavies. Sad to say, they have a real high DPS output, but they also like don't really have as much sustain as other specs do when it comes to like group fighting. Other than their heal, I mean they can manipulate their heal and and get their health back to full if if they get hit a lot. But the heal is kind of unreliable because if a player stops attacking, then where's your heal at? You can't heal yourself. So that's why I say only master this class if you already know other classes. Uh, Moving on to the next one, I would say Renegade. Renegade is okay. I didn't really like Renegade as much when I played it, but they have like these things where they can make clones. They're kind of like Mesmers. They would be like a Mesmer heavy class if you already know how to play Mesmer. What I mean by that is when you go to Legendary Renegade stance, I'm gonna show you real quick. They put down these little AoE fields, and they're like Mesmer clones. They out in the world. They can be attacked. They have their own health bar. They can soak up damage for you. You can put them out. So it's like a support class, and they really do damage, and they can help you in fights. But it's mainly for like PvE. I wouldn't really rely on this in a PvP setting. They can make it work if they gave you like different skills or something, but right now I wouldn't use Renegade in a PvP setting unless you know what you're doing, unless you can make a build viable for it. But if not, then I wouldn't really suggest running Renegade in anything other than PvP or raids. uh, the reason why Renegade is really useful in raids is because they can dish out a lot of alacrity. Alacrity is a boon in this game which gives you reduced cooldown on your skills. Now, the class that I'm playing now is called a Guardian. I'm playing the Dragon Hunter Elite Specialization. This is probably a good specialization to play when you're in PvP. Like I said, it's damage dealing. They throw out spears. They can tether foes to them and pull them to you. They came with bows. So Dragon Hunter got bows. So as you can see here, it's a real high CC weapon. Got crowd control. You got the Hunter's Ward, got stuff like that. You got the Wings of Resolve, which is like a movement ability, and then you got the Shield with Guardians. They're really fun class to play for DPS. If you're a power player, if you like to play power other than condition, you can make a Conde fire build with Dragon Hunter, but I would really go for power builds. Power is probably the most viable. And then you got Firebrand. Firebrands come with tomes. They're like books, and each, like as you see my skill bar, my whole entire skill bar changed. So each tome that you open up has a new list of skills. This is a support. This is the like healing, condition healing. This is the mainly for like reflex. This is the Tome of Courage or whatever, and this is for like stability. Stability is a boon which like players or enemies cannot stun you or knock you back or anything, so you gain resistance to that. And then your Tome of Justice is like for damage and burns and things like that. So you can make a Firebrand burn build, condition build. That's what burns are. And then you can make a power. I don't know. I don't really know how to make a power Firebrand build work, but if you can make it work. I've seen it. I've seen people make it work with Axe really, but I can't make it work. But apparently it's very strong if you can make it work. There's probably some builds you can find on YouTube somewhere. Next one we're gonna talk about is Engineer. So like I said before, engineers, they have turrets that they can put down, and it's turrets are, they're not like clones. They can soak up damage for you as well, but they can break. The turrets also come with a second activation, so when you place them, you can detonate them. I think some of the turrets do damage when you detonate them. I'm not sure, but when you put down the turrets, they can they do different things. So for example, the healing turret will do like a AOE water field healing that you can do on you, and when that water field is down, if you activate it again, it would do like a AOE blast combo field. Now, I didn't talk much about combo fields in this game as well. Like that, I'm telling you, that's the reason why I love Guild Wars so much, because they have another effect called combo fields. And there's about like 5, 6, 7 of them, whatever. Combo fields. I'm not gonna go too much in depth on it, but basically combo fields help you in combat. So like a water combo field, and each of your skills also have like a description on it depending on which skill it is. So for example, my jump shot right here, this is my rifle legendary. It's called HMS Divinity. It's like a cannon, right? And I made myself look like a pirate, so I wanted to role play a little bit with this character. But basically, when I put down this turret, right, you see that AoE field, that big old circle around me? Pick up that turret. If you pick up your turrets, they go on like a lower cooldown instead of blowing them up. But if I use my jump shot when I'm in the combo field, you will also see it. I think you could put it in your chat as well. But whatever. Don't worry about that. But when I put down my turret, that water field activates. You see how it says healing? That's when you know you completed the combo field. Let's see for another example. I'm gonna use the smoke combo field, right? Put down my flame turret, and if I overload my flame turret, it should well, it's not using it. I don't know what's going on. Well, I'm gonna try another one. I'm gonna try a bomb kit, right? Let's see what we can put on that one. Nope, still went on cooldown. Just give it 5 seconds. But basically, alright, so rocket boots. If you see at the bottom, it says combo finisher, blast. So basically, if I put down this smoke bomb, it says combo field, smoke. So I put down smoke bomb, give it a second to blow up. It's a smoke field. If I use this blast, I'll gain stealth. So each of the combo fields have a different effect. Not many games have that. Like that's what I really love. I was like, wow. And then the thing about Guild Wars is they don't go too much into depth about combo fields. So a lot of players don't know how to manipulate that and gain those buffs. So here's another example. Big old bomb, right? It's a blast combo finisher. Blast, if I put down this fire, oh damn, I messed it up. But basically, it would give me might, like I did right there. The rocket boots plus a fire combo field will give me 3 stacks of might. Let me try it again. Put down the fire bomb, blow up. Area might will give it to everybody. Alright, so I'm playing Hollow. Hollow manipulates heat generation. And basically, when I go into Hollow mode, you get a list of skills at the bottom, 5. And then you can do damage with these. Let me show you. I'm going to show you the elite, because this is probably my favorite elite out of all of them. So basically, if you can see right here, there's like a little thin line, and this is heat, 15 out of 100, right? So depending on how much heat generation you make, each attack does heat generation, even your hollow utilities. And once I hit that 50% mark, my skills change, right? So my prime light beam, this is the elite. It'll turn into a laser gun, but it'll also do an AoE field. You see this little field right here? It does fire, burning, and everything. But you don't want to stay in hollow 2 mode. Which will happen is if you stay in it too long, you'll start to overheat. And if you overheat, you will hurt yourself and do damage to yourself. Now there's a build where you want to get overheated. Now you see this? You see how my health is going down when I overheat? There's actually a build right here. Where is it at? I think it's right here. It deals damage when you overheat. So this is a build, like it doesn't deal as much damage to you, but basically you want to overheat yourself so you can do as much damage as possible to the foe. I haven't been able to make this build work, but I've seen people do it, and it does a lot of damage. It still says 2,000 damage on the base thing. So if you overheat yourself and explode, it won't do as much damage to you as it did before. But you want to blow yourself up, basically, so you can do as much damage to the foe as possible. And then there's also other builds like this, so you can reduce your heat generation by dodging. And then you can also run Adrenal Implant, which gives you 50% endurance generation, so you can keep dodging as much as possible to get rid of that heat. It can go in and out of Photon Forge mode, you know, as much as you want. You dodge, get rid of that heat, go right back into it like it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's really fun to play. I really like using it. I really love Hollow. Hollow is probably another favorite of mine. I couldn't master it like other players have, but I really loved it. Now, like I said, I'm playing the Scrapper. Scrapper came with hammer. I think I have a hammer on me. Sharir is another another legendary that I have. This is another legendary that changes depending on the time of day. it would turn into either a monster or it would turn into like how it looks now, like a little glowy mechanism, like it moves on its own. I really love it. It's pretty nice. It has its own projectiles and things like that. Let me see if I can get a projectile for you guys. There we go. Oh, not a projectile. Well, you can do it with bombs, right? Let me show you real quick. This is what the bombs look like. Throw it out. See, look like that. So they all have their own projectile. You also have projectiles with the rifle too. Um, just give it a second to cool down. But anyway, uh, Scrabbers come with gyros, and gyros move with you. There used to be objects in the world that you could like destroy that other players could destroy, but I guess Guild Wars was like, that's not really something we wanted to go for because they're dying way too easily, especially like in big zergs. So now the gyros will fly next to you, and they'll be like over top of you. So for example, this is the sneak gyro, and now there's like a little tiny black gyro over top of my head, and it generates stealth for me, right? Or AoE stealth. There's also different types of gyro. There's bulwark gyro. Bulwark gives you barrier. Like I said, barrier before. Scourges are really good at giving barrier. Um, bulwark will give you barrier for duration. It gives it to all of your allies and everything, right? So let me show you that skill again. The projectile for this legendary. Where's it at? I keep choosing the wrong skills. There we go. So like I'm using the cannon, right? The legendary rifle. This is what the projectiles look like. Look like little cannonballs when I throw out the projectiles. I thought that was really cool. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit so you can hear the animation, sound effect. So it sounds like you're shooting a cannon as well, right? You hear that? And then they come with footfalls, the little water footfalls. Turn that right back down. Let's see here. So yeah, you get a lot of gyros. You can make a power build out of Scrabber. Power builds are kind of stronger now that they changed them, but I would still choose Hollow for power over Scrapper. Scrapper is mainly support. But like I said, you can make it work. If you can make it work, you can make it work. There is no can't make it work kind of thing. But like I said, every build and every class has their strengths and weaknesses. So you might be able to kill another class really fast on Scrapper, and then you might have a hard time trying to kill somebody else with Scrapper. So right now I'm playing as a Necro. I am not playing as an elite spec. But like I said, with Reaper, they go into like this Death Knight kind of thing. This Dark Knight. When they're Death Shroud, you see how I look like that? When I go out of it, I look like a regular, and then when I go into it, I look like a Dark Knight, whatever. They have shouts. So their shouts do damage, like a real power build. You got nothing can save you. It's unblockable. You got the elite, which is chill to the bone. It's an AOE stun, and basically when you stun somebody, depending on how many targets you hit, you gain stability per stun. Chill to the bone, right? I love it. Let's see their great sword. Their great sword, like Exordium. Let me show you. When I'm running Exordium and I use a great sword, it changes. Like I said before, every weapon, every time you use a new skill, it changes. So, like for Gravedigger, it would change it to a scythe. Pretty cool, right? And I found out, like, probably like a week later, that the sword can also turn into a whip. If you watch real closely, see how it turns into a whip? That's a pull ability. Turns into a little whip when you use your pull skills. I thought it was really cool. I was like, wow, they even animated that and turned it into a whip. I was like, wow, they really went all out on this one. I love it. Let's see, Scourge. Can't use, okay, so when I went to Scourge, right, you see how my skills are grayed out? You can still wield it, but you can't use any of the skills when I press it. See that? But Scourge is mainly for like your power, your condition damage dealing. Let me see real quick. I'm gonna make a Scourge build. Yeah, so Scourge has these things called shades. And you can place these shades throughout the world. And shades give you, depending on what your build is, they can give you boons, or they can strip boons from players or enemies, and it can also give barrier if you put your traits on your shades to give you barrier. If you're a really high healing build, it will give you a lot of barrier. And then Scourges have another elite called Ghastly Breach. which basically corrupts boons and apply conditions to all of the enemies around you. Their weapon was a torch, so they gain like a little fire skills and then a knockdown. I can't do this knockdown unless I have a target, unfortunately. But yeah, they came with that. Not too many left. I only got 2 more classes. Thief and Warrior. I'll go into Warrior. So Thief, like I said, they came with Daredevil and Deadeye. Deadeye is more like your ranged stealth class. They have 1500 range when they go into Nail. Nail is a newer mechanic which makes you immobile when you go into Nail. But they can use rifle and shoot players from 1500 range. They have a medium mobility. Daredevil probably has the highest mobility in the game because they have a unique dodge, which changes your dodge to dash. Builds called Dash Thief. Thieves are probably in the best place for PvP right now since the balance patch. So this is called Dash, right? Or Unhindered Combat Sense. So basically, it changes my dodge to look like this. It's a longer animation for the dodge, and basically you look like you run like a ninja or fucking Naruto or some shit, right? And then they have a heal, which their heal also gives them endurance. So basically, this elite plays based around your endurance. So if you want to make like a power build, you want to not have full endurance because it says damage is increased based on the endurance that is missing. So you want to manipulate those dodges and get as much damage off as possible while you're missing endurance. So they don't really have a hard time gaining endurance. But like I said, Daredevils, they have blocks and things like that. That's why I call them like your monk class, because they fight like fighters. They can block, and then they can do like punching attacks. But these punching attacks really aren't that strong. And you also have to hit off every attack before you can go to the next one. I think that's really hard to do, especially if you're playing a PvP setting. You might have to stun them before you can actually get that attack off. I don't really know how you're going to do that, but if you can stun them, then you can get that attack off. They have bound. You're bound, like I said, each of your Grandmaster traits will change your dodge. So this is how bound looks. It's like a long jump in the air. And that deals damage when you land. And then you have Lotus Training, and this is like your Condi build. Like I said, you can make a build out of anything. I don't really know how you can make a support build out of Thief, other than like Medic Thief when you put people in the stealth. But it's not as valuable as like Firebrand or Tempest or anything because they don't give out a lot of boons with their builds. So let's see. This is Lotus Training.
Do some real damage.
And basically, if I was near a foe, it would throw out like conditions like Torment, I think. Yeah, Torment, Bleed, and Cripple. Every time I dodge near a foe, it bleeds and torments them. So that's Daredevil. Daredevil also came with Staff. I forgot to show you that. So they came with Staff, and Staff has a couple evades on it, a couple blinds and stuff. It's a nice little skill for like AOE, like if you want like combat. A lot of AoE skills, like Vault. Vault does a lot. So usually if you play Staff, you want to go to Bounding Dodger because it makes you do more damage when you dodge. So you wanna dodge first and then use a skill because you'll be doing that Bounding Dodger and then the Vault, which does more damage. And then you have Deadeye. Like I said before, when you go into Deadeye, in order to really use this class, you want to build Malice. Malice will be over top of your endurance bar, and the longer you mark a foe, you mark them with your Steal ability, which is your like F1 or whatever. When you mark a foe, I want to show you guys real quick. Let me go out to the world. So depending on how many Malice stacks you get, right, you deal more damage. So you want to generate as much Malice as possible to deal as much damage as possible. So they changed it before because you used to just generate Malice the longer you stayed in stealth. So they didn't want that. They want you to actually like hit the foe while you're doing that. So let me see if I can find somebody to fight that don't die in 2 seconds. Let me see over here. So your F1 changes to Deadeye's mark. Everywhere I go, somebody's fighting somebody. Come on now, let me get a. I mark the foe, and then of course I can't gain Malice because the thing's about to die now. I have to actually hit the foe in order to gain Malice. Let me see. I need to find a harder enemy. I'm too strong. Oh well, but I hope you get it. You want to build malice, right? And more malice you build, the more damage you can deal. I'm gonna show you the mechanic though. So this is kneel. When you kneel down, your skills change at the bottom. You see how they all change? Now they're 1500 range. So if I were to mark, I can't attack when I'm kneeling though. That's the only thing. So you want to make sure you're attacking and marking the foe at the same time. So when I kneel, 1500 range, and I can do another attack. Thieves also have stealth attacks, so their auto attack will change when they're in stealth. So for example, let me show you real quick. If I was to go dagger, right? So when I go into stealth, I go dagger. Now it says malicious backstab. But generally, my skills would still be just regular backstab when I go into stealth. So I mean, well, Deadeye have their own like F1s. I mean, their own autos. So they Deadeye's autos change. So Death Judgment is their rifle. But if I was to play, let me see, show you here. All right, so malicious backstab is Thief's or Deadeye's backstab, and basically it does more damage depending on how much malice you have. Like I said, you want to work around malice. But if I was to play like a regular thief or a daredevil, it would just be a regular backstab. It's not called malicious anymore. And basically, a regular backstab just does more damage if you hit them in the back, basically. So that's Daredevil and Deadeye for you. They get rifles, they get staffs with Daredevil. And then back to my favorite class of all, the Warrior. Last but not least, the Warrior. Warrior is probably most versatile. They can use the most weapons out of all of the classes. They can use maces, swords, great swords, hammers. So there's a lot of build diversity with Warriors. They're a really fun class to get into, really fun to play. This is your conditioned Warrior build, right? You can play Power Warrior, Power builds, but basically Berserker, this is the Berserker elite spec, and Berserkers work around managing fire and manipulating fire and fire auras, right? A good power Berserker build would be Great Sword, Berserker. The headbutt, you want a headbutt. Let me see, I can't find anything to fight. This is amazing. So these are power Berserkers. My F1s, the only thing that changes when I go into Berserk mode are my F1s. So you get Arc Divider, you get Decapitate. So all of your F1s change when you go into Berserk mode. And they came with torches. Torches do a lot of condition damage and things like that, like Flames of War. So the thing you want to do when you play as Warrior, like I said, you want to manipulate the fire auras. Because the trait that you run is called King of Fires. And every time you activate a fire aura, it explodes. You can only activate fire auras when you use your raid skills. Each skill has an attribute over at the beginning of the description. You see how it says rage. This one says physical. You can activate them with your weapon abilities too, but mainly you want to use like your utilities. These are utilities. This is your heal, and this is your elite. So you want to activate them with your either your skills or your utilities. I would say mainly use your utilities. It depends on the situation though. Don't just spam all of your attacks. Assess the situation, know what you're doing, know your player, know your fighter, and go in that way. And then last but not least will be Spellbreaker. Like I said before, not a lot of enemies in PvE have boons, so I can't really demonstrate it as much. But they come with daggers and they come with boon stripping. If you want to run a high boon strip build, you want to run Enchantment Collapse. Basically what that makes your build does is each skill that removes a boon, it removes one extra boon. So if you see it says Winds of Disenchantment, it says moves one boon, and now removes 2 boons per whatever, right? So this is Winds of Disenchantment. Before, you would just place the AoE field down and people could walk out of it. Now, you can activate it. Where the hell is it at? It's not even animating on my screen. There you go. And basically, you can move around with the bubble on top of you, and it will move boons that way. That's mainly for like big group fights, small group fights. I wouldn't really recommend using that in PvE. It's not really that strong. It's just a lot. Like I said, a lot of the foes don't have boons. But it's mainly like for Zergs or things like that. It's not really made for like small group fights. So you know, you can just look up some builds and see how Spellbreaker works. Also, with Spellbreaker, you probably missed it, but your F1's changed as well. So you get a new F1 ability called, or F2. They give you a new F2 ability. I'm sorry, a new F2, which is called Full Counter. And basically, when you gain adrenaline, you can do a counter attack. It's not as strong as people think. It used to be when the game first came out. And basically, counter attack is when a foe hits you, you evade and you attack them. It's kind of like a monk spec, but I wouldn't really consider a monk. Not as much as thief. This is core warrior. They get 30 adrenaline, and berserker they get 30. But you can't use your F1 or F2, whatever the button is for it, until you get that 30 adrenaline. Like you see how it says not enough adrenaline at the top right there. Not enough adrenaline. You can't do it until you gain 30. So there's a little downfall to berserker. You have to know how to manage your adrenaline so you can get into berserk mode more often. They also have skills, utilities like headbutt to give you that adrenaline so you can go into it. But I would say save headbutt and skills like that for when you are in actual berserk mode, because berserk skills give you more duration, so you can stay in berserk mode even longer. So yeah, there you have it. Those are all the builds. That's my favorite class, warrior. I have videos on all of the mounts. If you want to see all of the mounts, this is the Raptor. This is the Springer. It jumps real high. This is the Skimmer. It can float and fly on water. This is the, where is it at? This is the Jackal. It can teleport. Give out barrier. This is the War Claw. This is the World versus World mount. It's mainly more effective in World versus World, but you can still use it in the open world. This is the Roller Beater. The Roller Beater is probably the fastest mount, but has really hard turning mechanics like drifting and things like that. See how drift? You have the Griffin. The Griffin was the first mount, the first quote-unquote legendary. The last mount, the Sky Scale, didn't come out until like the last living story. So that's when Exordium came out. That's when Sky Scale came out. Everybody was waiting for a dragon mount, but for a long time, everybody only had the Griffin mount. The Griffin mount cannot fly. It can only glide. You can stay in air as long as you know how to manipulate your your flying down and everything like that, gaining air. But it cannot fly and gain altitude as good as the Sky Scale can. The Sky Scale, though, is not as fast. The Sky Scale works like a helicopter. It can stay in the air like a helicopter. It can, move around in the world, but it cannot fly. And then you also get a flight meter right there. And depending on how high you fly and how high you go down, depends on the flight meter. So if I go too high above my flight, I'll start to gain a red bar. And the red bar means I can't fly up anymore, right? So you want to land as much as possible. And also you gain a new skill called like wall climbing. So that's how you can get up like high hills. So I would say the Sky Scale is like a mix between the Springer and the Griffin mount. So if I can't fly that high, right? If I can't get all the way up there, what you want to do is grab onto the wall, hold the jump button, endurance button, and fly up even more. So you can climb really high. And yeah, they got a lot of masteries, a lot of content, guys. This is the Heart of Thorns traits, to get around the world. This is the Path of Fire masteries. I said traits. I meant masteries. So each mount has their own masteries. You got the open world, the regular PvE masteries, and then you got the Ice Brood Saga masteries. A lot of those masteries are only mainly for the map. But like I said, enjoy the game. Is Guild Wars 2 worth playing? I know this video is probably like 40 minutes long. Is it worth playing? Yes. Into 2020, yes. From a player PvP perspective, it is definitely worth playing. Game is not as balanced as I wish it would be, but they're still working on it, and I really love this game. And no, I'm not being paid. I'm not a partner or anything. I just love Guild Wars, and I just wanted to give my own opinion on the game. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Not a lot of people probably watched all the way to the end, but if they did, I'm thankful that you watched, and hope you have a good time and stay safe during this pandemic, guys. Appreciate it, and I'll see you then.